Good evening, guys. Thank you for joining us for the January 27, 26 business meeting. If we could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We are joined by 6 of our trustees, our superintendent of schools, Dr. Timothy Harney, our assistant superintendent for curriculum and instruction, Mr. Robert Haas, our assistant superintendent of finance and operations, Ms. Carrie Lockman, our assistant superintendent for personnel and TPS, Ms. Emily Ekstrom, our district legal counsel, Mr. Kevin McCarthy, our district clerk, Ms. Suzanne Eddy, and our student delegate, Ms. Taylor Bergman. As always, there are 2 opportunities for the community to participate during the board of the meeting. The first is just before the board takes up its agenda, and the second follows the disposition of all agenda items. And as always, if you'd like to speak, we ask that you come to the podium. You must be a resident or an employee of the school district, and any other person must be voted in by a majority vote of the board. We ask that you keep those comments to approximately 3 minutes. As always, the board meetings are live streamed and posted to the board docs. And if you'd like to follow us on Instagram, you can follow us at BBP School District. But at this time, we'll open up to the community for any new or old business. Here I just want to read a small statement. You may have seen on the agenda tonight, Dr. Harney's resignation on for his retirement. So I just want to say on behalf of the BBP Blue Point School District, we would like to extend our sincere gratitude and best wishes to Dr. Harney as he prepares for retirement. Throughout his tenure, Dr. Harney has demonstrated unwavering dedication to our students, staff, and the overall school community. His leadership, professionalism, and commitment to doing what is best for children has left a lasting impact on our school district. From guiding instructional initiatives to navigating challenges with steadfast and integrity, he has led with both purpose, but more importantly with his heart. We are grateful for the countless hours, the thoughtful decisions, and the steady guidance provided over the years. The foundation that you have built will continue to benefit our school district well into the future, and not too long after you retire. I know there will be more time in the future to celebrate you and acknowledge you as we know how much you love the attention. But on behalf of the BBP Blue Point Board of Education and the overall school community, we thank you for your service and we wish you the happiness and fulfillment as well as deserving next chapter. In the near future, the district will be looking closely with the firm to start the search for our next school district leader. Dr. Harney will be leaving us on July 31st, so we have a lot of time to thank him over the next couple of months, and I'm sure Melissa will throw a big party that will all be there. And he really looks forward to that. But Dr. Harney, from the bottom of our hearts, we thank you. You are Mr. BBP Blue Point, and we'll definitely miss you. So, thank you. There'll be a lot more time to have conversations with Dr. Harney and make him feel uncomfortable, but he'll be here to July 31st at least. So at the same time, we're going to turn it over to Dr. Harney or superintendent report.
So I was hoping to really just go to my report. That's really what I was hoping tonight. So, but I would be remiss if I didn't say something, and I'm going to do my best right now. It truly is bittersweet. And I haven't really prepared anything, which is probably the worst thing I could have done for all of you, actually. But I just really would like to start by thanking the Board of Education. I have been blessed with the support and the people that are up here. A lot of people don't get to see the day-to-day stuff, which I do. And I'm extremely lucky, and I cannot thank you enough. And our community is extremely lucky because it's because of your support and your willingness to continuously look to enhance what we're doing, and we're able to do the things that we do. I just happen to be the person who's trying to guide it, but without your support, none of that would be possible. So I really want to thank you. The next part of this is obviously the staff. I've said this, I mean, I am extremely, extremely lucky to serve as the superintendent here. I've been in the district now 18 years, various different roles, and it's the people. People always ask me, whether it be an interview or things that stand out to me most about BBP Blue Point, it's always been the exact same thing. My answer has always been the same. It's been about the family and about the community. It amazes me the community comes together, whether if we're celebrating something or if somebody's struggling with something. And that is something very, very unique to Bayport Blue Point. And somebody from the outside who's been accepted within Bayport, I truly see it, because you do not see it everywhere. So that is very, very special, and that's because of all the people here. The staff here is tremendous. I often say, people say to me, hey, you know, nice job, doctor, and I continuously say the same thing all the time. I'm lucky to be surrounded by the people that I'm surrounded by. They work hard, and ultimately, everyone wants to do what they think is best for our students. So I'd like to thank them as well for all their efforts. And again, we'll do this a little bit more in the future. As Mr. Miller said, still got 6 months and a lot of work to do. So we're doing that. Thank the community, the parents. They are tremendously supportive as well. Again, it's a tremendous place. And I think the thing I'm going to struggle with the most, if you haven't figured it out yet, if you don't know me well, it's the students. It's one of those things is, I'm not done working, and I'm sure whatever I do next will be with students, because that is really what has driven me over the years. I often think about what I would want people to do for my own kids, and that's what happens here at Bayport Blue Point. And that is something that I try to put to practice myself. I mean, some of the things I'm going to talk to into my report is really just about what the students have done here to make this place a better place. So you guys are the ones I am going to miss the most. There is no doubt about it. Those daily interactions. But as I said, it's just kind of that time where I'm like, it's all right. What is next for me as I'm looking to, as I look to enjoy some more of my own family time. I spend an awful lot of time here, which I love. But now I also want to do some of that with my own family and spend some more time with them as well. So, but again, as I said, I probably should have wrote something down. But again, thank you to everybody. Thank you to Mr. Miller, the Board of Ed, my admin staff. I mean, they are top notch. I've been lucky and blessed to work with the people I've worked with for the past 18 years up to right now. So thank you to them as well. And if I forgot anybody, I apologize, but I'm a very, what's the word up here? Very emotional up here right now. So with that, thank you, everybody. So saying that, I do actually have a report. So happy to share that. So here's an instance. So we were approached by the PTA about 6-7 months ago. And I shouldn't even say I worked, we had a group of high school students who put together a social media presentation for parents at the Blue Point Library last week. They did a tremendous job. They created it from beginning to end. And they took every question that parents had for them. It was really geared towards like 4th, 5th, and 6th grade parents to help them with social media and internet safety for their own students or children. They were outstanding, and in the near future they'll do something also at the elementary. So when we talk about it, those are the things that I often think about. We have students here tonight that are going to be recognized, who we started with this idea a number of years ago for the 5K Cocoa Run, who have kind of taken it and led it. Again, student-led. I just happen to be lucky to be the person or one of the people who sits in a room with them as they put their ideas together. So again, we're going to celebrate them tonight. So I'm looking really forward to that. Just on a side note, a couple of other items. We really need to thank our buildings and ground staff. This snow was a bear. It really was. And our buildings looked great this morning and welcoming students in here. So they really did a tremendous job. So I'd like to thank Mr. Bortsfield, our Director of Facilities, and then everyone that was involved, because it truly, truly was a team effort. And then just a couple of other small reminders. It's just a reminder, next week we have the high school musical, which is Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Senior citizens, you're welcome on Wednesday. And then we also have the end of the quarter, and report cards will be going out on Monday as well. So again, I think that is all I have for you. Oh, last thing I have is last week we got together for the strategic plan, kind of planning for the future, which we got a lot of great input from all of our stakeholders. So now the next phase in that will be, our facilitator will be sending a document back to us that we'll start to begin and start to plan for the 26-27 school year, so we're looking forward to that. But again, I'd like to thank all of our community, all of our staff that attended that, because that was about 3.5 hours long, and a lot of good conversations came out of it. So again, thank you for that. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Bruckner.
Hello, I hope everyone had a warm and safe snow day yesterday and are ready to get back to learning. As for Academy, last week we kicked off our Rock Your Socks with Rohan Murphy, who inspired our students and showed him that a disability doesn't have to define you or slow you down. Our 3rd grade also had their Let's Go to China in school field trip. Our 5th grade got to continue their journey with the C-Tuck, who visited Academy Street to guide students through exploring and dissecting clams. We hope everyone stayed safe and warm with the winter weather. At Blue Point Elementary, we are so thankful to the new Blue Point restaurant, Almadora, for supporting the community for No Homework Night and other special opportunities for our families. We will also once again participate in Global Play Day, where the students are given an ample time for free play without the use of screens, structured games, or adult direction. The idea is to let children explore their creativity, problem-solving skills, and social interactions in an unstructured and spontaneous environment. Over at Sylvan this week, students in grades K through 5 are participating in their winter iReady assessments in both reading and mathematics. These assessments will provide valuable data to help teachers reflect on student progress and continue to plan targeted instruction to meet the needs of all learners. We are also excited to participate in the Great Kindness Challenge this week. This week-long initiative promotes a culture of kindness and compassion in schools and communities around the world. Throughout the week, students will be encouraged to complete acts of kindness as they work through their Great Kindness Challenge checklists. As for the high school, the January Regents examinations have been successfully administered and completed. Students are currently participating in a variety of enriching activities, including Desi Strong events, a clothing drive, robotics competitions, school musical, Guys and Dolls, and Top Golf experiences. In addition, all students are meeting with their school counselors to complete their course selection for the upcoming school year.
Thank you so much, Ms. Bruckner. At this time, we're going to turn over to Mr. Haas for our Community and Cocoa 5K Fun Run and Walk.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Sorry about that. Thank you, Mr. Miller. It is truly an honor to recognize the students who helped coordinate, and then some of our students that their designs helped make the Community and Cocoa 5K and Fun Run so special this year. This is our 4th annual Community and Cocoa Run, and it truly has, in a very short period of time, it truly has become a tremendous tradition for our school, for our community as a whole. And we bring people in every year. There's somebody from a different place. Somebody came from Connecticut this year. We had people from upstate last year. So it is something that the word is getting out there. And a lot of people requesting that we amp up the game a little bit and make it more of a timed competitive race next year. So we'll see about that. See if Dr. Harney will come back and he can take on Mr. Miller, and we'll see who will win. But really it all goes to the students that are involved in making it such a special event. There's a group of students that some of them have been with us for 4 years doing it, and every year we kind of task the graduates of, hey, you got to bring somebody else so that we can keep this going, and they bring back students every year that just do a tremendous job. They put everything they can into it, so their parents should be extremely proud of the way that they conduct themselves, the ideas that they come up with, and really for me, in meeting with them, it is just awesome to work with them. They start meeting in around late October, early November. We start getting together, and we meet pretty much weekly, and it is the highlight of our week, meeting with them. It is, I'm not gonna lie, it's entertaining half the time. They do come up with some good stuff, but they really just put in a lot of work, and I can't thank them enough, from all the planning that goes into it, but really more importantly, the day of the event. It is amazing that other student volunteers come, whoever it is, and you can just direct them in their way, and they take care of it and really are true leaders of not only our school, but leaders of our community. So I want to thank them. So the first thing I'm going to do is call up our student leaders when it comes to running the Community and Cocoa 5K, to honor them. And I would like to call up Ms. Pignataro, Ms. Kane. I think you guys were going to come up and help out with it. So I'll call up the high school students first. Phoebe Brownie, I don't see her here. Ayla Cahill. Stay up here, stay. Angela Cavuto. Anna Gibson. Kylie Jensen. Charlotte Johnson. Janvi Patel. Jackson Zwake. And the next group are my seniors that have done it they've been with it, I think, doing it for all 4 years, and they have truly left their mark on the Bayport Blue Point community with it, so they are encouraged to come back and help out and even run in it in future years. So first we had our Grinch, our drone operator, who did so much with it, AJ Cavuto. She's not here, but always did a tremendous job for the past 4 years with us doing it. Speaking at the event, Abby Hendershot. And last but certainly not least, another senior who, again, has left his mark on us, always just giving it his all, Brady Noon.
Before we take the photo, we're just going to get Mr. Johnson down on this side next to his daughter.
So I want to keep the high school students. I do want to keep the high school students up here as we recognize 2 other students. So each year we send out across the district to all the elementary schools, even the high school, middle school and high school. We do a design contest for the t-shirt design, and then one also for the ornament that's given to all the students that participate in the 5K. And this year we had winners from the same exact class and apparently sat right next to each other, which was quite interesting. But for our Community and Cocoa t-shirt design winner, we have Mason Garofolo. And for our ornament design winner this year, we have Ellison Pignataro. And I have to say there was about 40 submissions for both designs, and these two were pretty much unanimous from the group, so they did a tremendous job. So thank you very much for everything that you guys do for our community.
We'll make one more round of applause. Thank you guys so much for coming tonight. We do have two special presentations tonight. We have an academic presentation and our third budget presentation. But at this time, we're going to turn it over to Ms. Kelly, the Sylvan Avenue Elementary Principal. Big round of applause for Ms. Kelly.
Thank you so much, and thank you for the opportunity to be here this evening and to be able to share more about our universal pre-K program at Sylvan Avenue. So as we begin tonight, it's always important, not only this evening, but always to continuously reflect on how our UPK program aligns with the district's priority areas. So enhancing community connection by building a strong partnership with families, promoting academic excellence through a developmentally appropriate and high-quality instruction that we provide for students, as well as enhancing the student experience in terms of supporting children as a whole child, both academically, socially, and emotionally. So the purpose of the presentation this evening is to provide an overview of the Sylvan Avenue UPK instructional program, as well as highlight the curriculum, share more about the structure of the day, and the student-centered instructional practices that you see within our classrooms. It's an opportunity to share a bit more about our program and how it provides an opportunity for our children to be prepared for kindergarten and the experiences beyond. So our universal pre-K program within the Bayport Blue Point School District this year is available to 116 students. 18 students attend the YMCA in Patchogue, and each day 98 students attend Sylvan Avenue for our UPK program. Those 5 classes of UPK students are fully integrated within our Sylvan Avenue community. The instructional and student support services that they may provide are embedded throughout the school day. And for the purpose of this evening, I'm going to focus just on the program at Sylvan Avenue. As we have 5 classes, 4 of the classes are made of 20 students and supported by a teacher, an aide, and an assistant. And we have a 5th class of 18 students that's supported by an aide and an assistant who are staff members of the YMCA. But there's no difference among those classes. They have the same schedule, the same program experiences daily. So our program here is aligned to the New York State pre-kindergarten standards, and the pre-kindergarten standards are based around 5 domains which support the whole child. So when we're considering our pre-K program, looking at approaches to learning and how students become actively involved in their learning, physical development and health, social and emotional learning, how they're building connections and making friendships and establishing relationships. Communication, language, and literacy refers to the ways that students are communicating and creating meaning and able to conduct and share that. And the cognition and knowledge of the world really refers to how a student is able to make sense of the world around them. So within that domain, we see the areas of math and science and social studies. So in looking at the 5 domains that make up the New York State pre-kindergarten standards, BBP was able to create the curriculum here within our district. And this curriculum is based around thematic units. Those thematic units basically provide an opportunity for students to experience content in a way that's meaningful, in a way that's connected, rather than just isolated lessons. So these themes like All About Me or When Winter Comes or Habitats are presented in a more connected way. If you look here, our current unit that our students are in, When Winter Comes, is an 8-week unit, and it begins in December and ends just at the end of this week, at the end of January. And within this unit, our teachers are embedding those different areas like literacy and science and social studies, as well as finding opportunities to really promote the social emotional learning of students as well. So I would like to just share a little bit more about what a day in the life of a UPK student at Sylvan looks like. And this evening I'm going to share a bit more about morning meeting, about learning centers, as well as exploratory play. But I also want to highlight that a UPK student at Sylvan has the opportunity to attend a special area class. So throughout the week, a UPK student attends physical education twice, as well as visits art and library and music, which again establishes a nice transition supporting when they head off to either Blue Point, continue at Sylvan, or Academy Street. So the morning meeting is really how the day begins, and it sets the tone for the day in a way that's structured. And it also builds a sense of classroom community. During morning meeting, our teachers are checking in with students. It's an opportunity for students as well to practice some of those social emotional skills. They're practicing turn taking, they're expressing how they're feeling that day. And then as the morning meeting goes on, it's an opportunity to build some early math skills when they go over the calendar. Students are beginning to work on number recognition and counting. They go into building vocabulary when they're talking about the days of the week, the months of the year, and the weather. And from there, we move into learning centers. So learning centers are very intentionally designed to engage students through hands-on and meaningful learning. They're always connected to the current thematic unit, and they support the early literacy, math, science, and writing development. They encourage problem solving, communication, and creativity, and they're supported through guided exploration and guided instruction that's provided by our teachers, by the aides and the assistants in small group settings, and then provide opportunities for more independent exploration for students. So learning centers always begin with a teacher-led lesson or a whole group experience. And this is an opportunity for our teachers to really set their purpose for the day. So they're presenting a concept or a central idea for their students, and from the mini lesson, then the students are moving into more individualized, more hands-on exploration of a certain content. So some of the learning centers you'll see when you walk through the UPK classrooms may be a literacy center. And in literacy centers, our students are building their early reading skills and beginning to make those connections of how letters connect to sounds. Here you see a student who's using a magnet letter wand to actually practice the letter formation. Then you have a student who's using some winter vocabulary terms, again building that vocabulary and practicing letter formation in a multisensory way. And then students throughout the year work on a letter journal where they're focusing on a letter each week, they're reinforcing the letter sounds and beginning to build that phonological awareness, an essential early reading skill. Within all of these centers, you see opportunities as well to embed those fine motor skills, which are essential as students begin to become writers. In literacy centers as well, you'll see the beginning stages of Writer's Workshop. And Writer's Workshop is a core component of our elementary literacy curriculum that Mrs. Beard actually spoke about last month. So here, Writer's Workshop is done in a way that's very developmentally appropriate. Our UPK students are drawing to express their idea, and they're able to dictate their thinking to the teachers and the support in the classroom. And then from there, they're beginning to have a better understanding of how words are formed. Not only that, but they're building on their idea of concepts of print. So they're beginning to have an understanding that we read and we write from left to right. Math centers are also building early number sense for students and problem-solving skills. Here you see students again connected to the theme using winter animals to represent different quantities. They're comparing quantities, identifying the concepts of more or fewer. Here, students tied to the theme are actually pulling out different numbers out of a mitten. Again, we're in that when winter comes unit. And then they're representing the quantity of that number in the mitten using dot markers on a snowflake. Here, students are actually arranging pictures of winter hats, and they're arranging them from smallest to largest, which is a really basic sequencing skill. And it also allows students to build their vocabulary. They're using comparisons, the bigger or smaller, tallest or shortest. Math centers here, students are comparing, identifying different shapes and matching them. And then building on that skill, you see one of our pre-K students who's actually graphing some information from the snow globe that they see and graphing the different shapes. So it builds on that concept that math is something that we can use to organize and share information. Science centers are probably one of the beloved centers throughout the classrooms. This unit, as they explore when winter comes, students are investigating winter weather. They're talking more about animals. And in our first picture, you see some of our pre-K students are exploring the idea of blubber. So through hands-on experiences, they're seeing the difference between putting their hand in cold water with blubber, or shortening, with and without. So they're utilizing their senses to have a better understanding of the world and understand animal adaptations. So science is a wonderful opportunity for students to really build those early problem skills through hands-on experiences. And also embedded within our day are opportunities for exploratory play. And this exploratory play is tied to the theme as well. So students are having an opportunity to build, create, and collaborate through play-based learning, utilizing materials that are connected to the theme. Through this exploratory play, students are developing their language, building on their creativity, communication, and social emotional skills, and they're supported by our staff. While students are playing, our staff is prompting and guiding and questioning, promoting sharing and positive behavior with others, which makes sure that even in play, the learning continues to be intentional. I do want to highlight our classroom learning environments in UPK because they are incredible to go and visit. When you walk into a UPK classroom, you see how vibrant they are. The materials are accessible. There are designated areas for different aspects of the day. So there's the play area and the art area, the writing center. We see small tables to support small group work. They're also always tied to the theme. So this week when you visit the UPK classrooms, the books in the libraries are aligned with the When Winter Comes unit, again reinforcing the vocabulary that students are learning each time they go and visit their classroom library. And as you look throughout the room, even the student work is tied to the theme. So it really allows for the environment itself to actually become a tool to teach. One of the strengths of our UPK program is the ability to identify the need for support early. And so when supports are provided through the Committee on Preschool Special Education, whether that be speech therapy, occupational therapy, or SEEIT services, special education itinerant services, when it's available, they can be provided through the school day at Sylvan Avenue. And this provides a really valuable opportunity for us to partner with families, with support service providers and teachers so that we can make more informed and thoughtful decisions related to kindergarten placement. Our students' growth is being measured daily by classroom observations of our teachers, and they're consistently and constantly monitoring the growth of their students. But this year, we've adapted a new tool to help support and monitor student growth. Our teachers in conversation and really wanting to learn more about their students, we've adapted the Brigance screening and progress monitoring tool this year within our program. And as we adopted that new tool, we have made the decision we're screening students prior to their start in the UPK program, as well as additional times throughout the year. That led us to take a look at our UPK report card, and this year we've revised that report card to align not only with the New York State pre-kindergarten standards, but also with the Brigance tool. And this report card has very clear developmental indicators in language that's very family-friendly and is an excellent way to support the conversations that our teachers are having with families about student growth, about student progress at the December and March conferences. So we really do believe belonging does begin in UPK. So from the day students arrive in our UPK program, they are part of our Sylvan Avenue community. They participate in all of the events that go on at Sylvan throughout the year, whether they be spirit days or assemblies or different celebrations. Our UPK classes also have an opportunity throughout the year to meet with their buddy classes, and that's an opportunity to learn from and alongside their 5th grade buddies, and it's always hard to tell who enjoys that more, our 5th graders or our UPK students. That idea of belonging, though, extends to families as well. Families are encouraged to join the Sylvan Avenue PTA, even families that leave us after the year to head on to Blue Point and Academy, which again just reinforces the idea of belonging within our school district. I do want to thank you this evening for the opportunity to share more about our UPK program. I do want to also thank Dr. Harney and Mr. Haas for their support, recognize our Sylvan Avenue staff, the UPK teachers, the aides and assistants, the teachers who are here this evening. We appreciate very much all they do, and thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kelly. Ms. Kelly, thank you so much, and thank you so much for being here tonight. We truly do appreciate it. Any trustees with any questions? Yep, Ms. Pignataro.
Not a question, just a comment. Just as a Sylvan parent myself and the parent of a 5th grader, I just wanted to kind of highlight the impact that that buddy class does have. We do hear about it at home, how much the 5th graders love to buddy with the UPK. And also as a member of the Sylvan PTA, it is wonderful to see the UPK parents not only attending PTA meetings, but taking part in our PTA events. And I just wanted to extend our thanks as well to you for your leadership, and also to the teachers, aides, and assistants who are here tonight on their own time. We very much appreciate that. And just appreciate all that you do, continuing to innovate, have conversations, how we can build the UPK and develop it even further. So we're so thankful for your efforts, and I can say firsthand as a parent, the joy that the UPK brings to the building is wonderful to see, and it just really does create community early on for our students, even though they do split up into their elementary schools afterward. It's just nice to see that they all start together and then they'll all come back together at the secondary level. So thank you for creating that foundation.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes, I want to say great presentation. I mean, I think we had a couple on UPK. This is definitely one of the that really just caught my attention, all the different things that we're doing with UPK. And just asking Dr. Harney, is this presentation available? Will it be available for prospective parents that are going to go into the lottery so they can kind of see some of the things that they're doing in the program as well?
So the lottery, I'm sorry. So first of all is the presentation will go on the website. We'll have it there as well. And then also, as of right now, we are open right now in terms of taking enrollment for our pre-K students, and then we'll go from there. And then I know that at the school, Ms. Kelly, they always do an intro for the incoming students as well, so that does happen.
And I only mention it because, we didn't have universal pre-K when I came into district, but if we did and my daughter was going into it, this would be definitely something that I'd want to look at, just to kind of get an understanding of what it was all about and what was being provided.
Ms. Connick?
I just also want to spread some UPK love, and thank you for giving us a peek into the UPK world. My kids are older, so this is a part of my own world right now, but as I am approached by people around the community, they are thrilled that we have UPK, and they can't say enough about the program, the teachers, aides, and assistants. It's just such a wonderful place to be, and looking out to those of you who are here, I can't think of a better way to start a student's educational journey at BBP than with your faces, so thank you.
Is there a better compliment than that? Any other trustee comments? Ms. Kelly, thank you so much. Thank you guys so much. Big round of applause. I'm going to pass it over to Ms. Laughlin for our third budget presentation.
There we are. Good evening. So tonight is our third presentation on budget, and what we're going to do tonight is go over the updated proposed tax levy for next year. If you recall, last meeting we had a lot of to be determines in that calculation that we've received information on. We'll go over the different revenue categories that we are looking at for the budget to support it. We will go through the state aid proposals that were released last week, as well as what our overall proposed revenue is for our budget for next year. As always, as Ms. Kelly said, we always start everything with what are the priorities of the district, what's the strategic plan, how can we support it? The budget is the main piece of that, of supporting every which area, and how can we finance some things in order to help the kids' educational opportunities expand. So with it, the tax levy calculation, we start always with what our current year tax levy is, and then we times that by what our property growth is, and that's provided to us by the comptroller. And unfortunately this year we had no growth within the community, so it is a 1.0, which we kind of did expect because there really isn't anywhere to grow and to build, and we're not seeing any new assessments come on the roll. So that 1.0 kind of just keeps us flat for current year. We then take on what is the CPI number to be used, which is year-to-date inflation, and it's capped at 2%, so that is what will be used in the formula. We then take our exclusions for capital expenditures, which is our debt service, our share of BOCES, rent and capital expenditures, and any expenses we're planning on working on capital-wise in the future. So last year we weren't too sure, and since then I have met with Buildings and Grounds, and we do intend to spend the $633,000 over the summer months on some projects to finish up a lot of flooring projects district-wide. And then we are budgeting for $300,000 of a transfer for HVAC systems, which we'll get more into at our next presentation on the Buildings and Grounds side. We then deduct from that the building aid we're receiving on the debt projects that have been done. Any revenue from debt that we've received, premiums on bonds, we'll take out of there as well that we'll be using, and then our BOCES aid on their capital expenses. So with that, we take that final $2.4 million and put that into the calculation, which you can see then raises what our tax levy limit is, as we're obligated to pay these expenses. And we come up with a negative 0.76% levy for next year. And just as a side note, this has been reviewed by the internal auditors for the board's clarification and signed off on. So as long as no numbers change from now until we report to the controller in March, this is what our final calculation will be at this time. So the different revenue categories, primarily our property tax levy is what we rely on to support our budget. And then you can see we do have some fund balance allocations, which in future years we need to start reducing the reliance on. And we also have the second largest category comes up as miscellaneous, but a large portion of that, about $1.2 million, is the library debt. They pay us back for that we pay, so that kind of skews that number a little bit. But you can see there, state aid is less than 20% of our revenue that we get year to year. Just a little bit of history on the tax levy. You can see for 3 years in 22, 23, and 24, the district did stay underneath our allowable levy limit. And as a result, the cumulative funding that was not received is just over $1 million. That is, it sets your base each year, and then you grow beyond that. That was a conscious decision made by the administration and the board at that time. And now what we're looking at is this current school year, 25-26, we stayed at the maximum levy, and now 26-27, it is a decrease in levy that we're gonna have to look at to see what we need to do. So in comparison, you can see the difference of state aid and the tax levy. Our levy has increased year over year as our expenditures go up, but our state aid is remaining flat. We did see a slight decline, but now we're pretty much flat on our state aid year over year. Going and anticipating to go forward with that. So with that, the proposals were released last week from the governor's office. Newsday took their chance and put it out there, 4% increase on state aid for most districts. That is not true. The number you're seeing in those reports is incorrect. That number includes, timely, the UPK funding. That is a grant that we apply for. That is not state aid. It is not guaranteed money. We have to apply. We only get for the amount of kids we educate. So our actual state aid increase is 0.85%. We're getting 1% on foundation aid. That's the minimum increase that the governor has put into the budget for all districts. And then based on just some changes within our expenditure aids that are driven by actual cost, we're seeing some ups and downs. So that's why we're actually only seeing a 0.85% state aid increase. It is not 4% that has been put out there in Newsday and will continue to be put out there in Newsday. So we do ask for the community's support in getting that information out and sharing that knowledge that the UPK numbers is significantly changing that, as they also have increased that significantly. Currently, we receive $5,400 per student. They're proposing $10,000 per student. So we're seeing a double in our allocation for UPK money, which is what's driving that 4%. So this is just a chart to show aid budget to budget. So what did we actually budget for this year, and what are we budgeting for next year? At this time, we're budgeting for the governor's proposal. We do anticipate that to possibly change as we go through the legislative process. But there are just some changes. So we're showing an increase in aid of $150,000 year to year as the governor's proposal, minus UPK. But the budget to budget for the district is actually only $71,000. And why is that? Because as that budget was adopted in April and voted on in May, prior to adoption, we take a look at what is the reality of those numbers coming through, especially in our expense-based aids. So our transportation aid was actually proposed much less than what we actually got. It was $746,000. Mr. Frontario knew we were going to have an increase in expenses as per the contract increase of CPI, and had budgeted for about $827,000 in state aid for transportation alone. We're actually receiving $834,000. So his projection was fairly close. So that's why we're seeing a difference budget to budget versus governor's proposal to budget. So total revenue as a whole, we're seeing a significant decline in the levy to levy, and that is primarily due to the calculation change that took place earlier in the fall prior to actually setting the levy. So you're seeing we're down $2.4 million in the levy alone. Our interest investments are up. We've changed some of our investment banking and what we're doing with our funds so that we can maximize our return. We are seeing a decline in tuition revenue that we're receiving from out-of-district students. Students have either moved out of district or permanently moved into district or have graduated, so we're seeing that go down. And then again, miscellaneous revenue, typically in there, we're budgeting for refunds that we're anticipating in the future years. We know those refunds are not guaranteed, so we're slowly starting to scale back on them as we're comparing what are we actually getting versus what we're budgeting. So we're just kind of fine-tuning that particular area of the budget. And then again, as I said earlier, we have money from reserves and our fund balance allocation to the budget to help support it. And the goal is in the future years to start reducing the reliance on that. For this budget, we're holding it flat at this point in time, but the recommendation will be to set a goal as to where we want to be maybe 4 or 5 years from now with that reliance on fund balance. So it's important to note, as you can see, our revenue has decreased year over year. And as a result of that, our tax levy limit will be necessary to be above what our allowable limit is in order to support our programs and not make any reductions to our programs. That is our main priority, is to make sure we have everything in place for our students that they currently have into the 26-27 school year. And again, reducing reliance on fund balance and reserves. So our next meeting is February 10th, and at that we'll start getting into the expenditure side of the budget. We'll look at transportation, buildings and grounds, our debt service, as well as all of our benefits within the budget. Those are all numbers that are fairly locked in at this point in time, so we'll go a little bit more into detail for that so that you can start to see what we need in support on the revenue side. Any questions?
Thank you, Ms. Loughlin. Any questions from trustees? Not hearing any community members, any questions? Ms. Loughlin, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Big round of applause. All right, moving on to the consent agenda. Are there any items the board would like to remove from the consent agenda and place on the regular agenda? Not hearing any, can I have a motion to approve consent agenda items G through L? Ms. Conley, second by Ms. Pigantano. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Moving on to the regular agenda, can I have a motion to approve the second reading and adoption of policies 2350, Board of Education meetings, types, agendas, procedures, and minutes, 6600, fiscal accounting and reporting, 8650, school district compliance with copyright laws, and 9645, disclosure of wrongful conduct. Ms. Conley, second by Mr. Wright. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries 6-0. Can I have a motion to approve the first reading of policies 4770, graduation requirements, 6010, fiscal controls, 6550, extra classroom activity funds, 6690, audit committee, 8505, school food service program, and 8520, school meal services. Ms. Conley, second by Ms. Pigantano. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Can I have a motion to approve the Chief Inspector of Elections, Evelyn Valero and Donna Cochran? Ms. Pigantano, second by Ms. Conley. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Can I have a motion to reluctantly approve Dr. Harney's resignation for retirement? Ms. Conley, second by Mr. Johnson, any discussion? Obviously, we read a statement before, Dr. Harney, and how we feel about you. There'll be a lot more, I'm sure, opportunities for us to thank you, and as much as you love that stuff, we'll definitely, hopefully, we're going to do something special for you this year, as I know you were looking forward to doing something like that. So, all in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries 6-0. I thought about saying no, just to say no. But didn't. Any community new business? Any trustee new business? Ms. Conley?
Just one quick thing. I know Dr. Harney mentioned that a week from tomorrow, Wednesday night, there is a senior show for all the senior citizens in the community to come see Guys and Dolls free of charge. I believe there's some snacks involved, but the time is 5:30 in the high school auditorium.
Thank you, Ms. Conley. Any other trustee new business? We have a motion to adjourn. Mr. Johnson? Ms. Conley, all in favor? Thank you guys so much for coming tonight. Truly appreciate it. Have a great night.